Hello, I'm Dr. P.R. Padma, Professor and Head in Charge of the Department of Biochemistry, Biotechnology and Bioinformatics at Avinashalingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women at Coimbatore. You have now chosen to study about the basic requirements and techniques of animal tissue culture. The term tissue culture refers to the culturing or growing of whole organs, tissue fragments as well as dispersed cells in a suitable nutrient medium so that they live and divide in the culture dish or outside the living body of an animal or humans. This provides a system that simulates in vivo conditions and environment and also provides a good test system method for studying the behavior of substances inside the animal or the human system. Let us now glance at the objectives of learning this module. This module aims to make the learner, namely you, know about the types and nuances of animal tissue culture, learn about the requirements of animal tissue culture both in terms of infrastructure, including the equipment needed and so on, and the nutrient medium and its components required, and to understand the methods of initiating as well as maintaining different types of animal tissue cultures. To give an overview, this module is part of the food biotechnology paper. It introduces the learner to the powerful technique, namely animal tissue culture, usually abbreviated as ATC. The module deals with the various facets of ATC, right from the layout of an ATC facility, the equipment and infrastructure and instruments needed to work with animal cells and tissues, the medium required and its components, as well as the techniques of working with animal tissue culture. Animal tissue culture or ATC encompasses the withdrawal of cells or tissues or whole organs from animals and maintaining them in vitro for a long time by providing the ideal conditions for the life and functioning of the cells or tissues or organs, as the case may be. It is a sophisticated technique that has several applications in the fields of research and medicine. The practice of ATC requires proper infrastructure and adequate training of the personnel operating the cultures. Depending on the material that is used to initiate the culture, ATC can be broadly divided into three types, namely cell culture, which is initiated from dispersed individual cells, tissue culture, which is initiated from tissue bits, and organ culture, where whole organs are cultured. Animal cells normally have a finite life and can only undergo a predetermined number of cell divisions. The message of this number is resident in each individual cell's genome. However, by changing the conditions of culturing and by repeatedly providing the cells the conditions to divide, cells can be made immortal in culture. That is, the cells can be maintained for a long time in culture when they undergo certain changes that immortalize them in culture. Such cultures are termed as cell lines. Thus, the culturing of cells that are initiated from freshly harvested tissue or organ which has a finite life in culture is termed as primary culture, and the cells that are immortalized in culture are termed continuous cell lines. Apart from this classification, based on anchorage properties, cultures can be divided into two other types, namely anchorage dependent cells and anchorage independent cells in culture. The anchorage independent cells are also called suspension cultures. Now, let us consider the requirements of animal tissue culture, starting with the infrastructure requirements. Animal tissue culture is carried out under strictly sterile conditions, and therefore providing aseptic conditions is an utmost priority for the ATC facility. Over the decades of practicing ATC, scientists have perfected the requirements right from the layout of an ideal ATC facility in all the equipment, chemicals and every other requirement needed for maintaining and working with the cultures. Let us consider these requirements one after the other. The first aspect to be understood about an ATC facility is that it should be a good sterile area with restricted entry, because the free movement of many people in and out of an ATC facility can easily cause contamination of the cultures. In order to avoid free entry of microbes into the facility, an ante-room is usually desirable in an ATC facility. The area to wash and prepare the glassware used, to sterilize these glassware, as well as the various solutions that are used in the culturing of cells, usually the washing facility is also part of the ATC facility itself. This is done in order to maintain sterile environment and minimize microbial contamination. An ideal facility will also have a separate inoculation chamber for starting and maintaining the cultures, as well as a separate incubation chamber to incubate the cultures during their growth. It is also desirous to have separate inoculation chambers for primary cultures and continuous cell lines. The ATC facility should also contain a preparation room where the solutions and other materials needed for operating with the cultures are prepared. This includes the preparation of medium that provides nutrition to the cultures. Now that we have seen the layout of an ATC facility, let us move on to the requirements of the equipment needed for operating with the animal cultures. Because ATC can be operated only if certain specific instruments and equipments are available. Let us consider them one after the other. The first among them is the laminar airflow. As already mentioned, ATC should be operated under strictly sterile conditions, for which laminar airflow or LAF workbenches are necessary. These are fitted with HEPA filters or high efficiency particulate air filters, which efficiently block all types of microbial organisms. Air is sucked in through this filter and flows over the working area in the laminar flow, thus ensuring that the work area is free of microbial contaminants. The laminar flow is also fitted with a germicidal UV lamp, which is always switched on 10 to 15 minutes before every session of ATC in order to get rid of any contaminating microorganisms that might have come in. There are two types of laminar airflows, namely a vertical laminar airflow and a horizontal laminar airflow. These are based on the conditions in which, or the directions in which, the air is flowing during the operation of the laminar flow. Both the types have specific applications in ATC and are used in the facility. The next equipment that is needed for ATC is an inverted microscope. The cultured cells have to be viewed periodically in order to assess their health status, their density and other morphological features. This is possible only through microscopes. In ATC, cultures are usually maintained in culture dishes which are at least 2 to 3 centimeters in height. Thus, the viewing can be done only using an inverted microscope. In an inverted microscope, the eyepiece and the optical lenses are present in an inverted position so that the light source is below the platform and the lens is above. The most common type of inverted microscope used in an ATC facility is a phase contrast microscope. This is because when live cells are monitored, they are not stained and therefore need a phase contrast to be viewed properly. Other than this, sometimes individual cellular structures are visualized after staining with fluorescent dyes. These can be viewed using an inverted fluorescence microscope. What you now see are micrographs or microphotographs of the cells in culture seen under phase contrast and fluorescence. What you now see are micrographs or microphotographs of the cells in culture seen under phase contrast and fluorescence. Apart from the inverted microscope, an ATC facility should also be equipped with the upright microscope or the normal microscopes. This is because cells can also be grown on thin structures like cover slips or can be grown in suspension and then mounted on slides for viewing later. Such cells can be viewed using the regular upright light microscope. Depending on the applications, these can also be a phase contrast microscope or a fluorescent microscope. Animal cell or tissue cultures are usually maintained in culture bottles or dishes and supplied with liquid medium. In order to maintain the pH of this medium at the physiological value, namely pH 7.4, with a very narrow range of variation, the carbonate-bicarbonate buffering system is used. For maintaining the dissolved carbonate and bicarbonate levels in the medium, a 5% CO2 environment is needed. For this reason, animal cultures are maintained in a CO2 incubator. This incubator can maintain the gas at exactly 5% level. In order for the free exchange of gas to the cultures, the animal cell culture bottles are fitted with a perforated lid that is covered by a sterile membrane filter. This, while ensuring gaseous exchange, results in the evaporation of water from the medium when incubated at 37 degrees Celsius. To counteract this evaporation, the carbon dioxide incubators are also equipped with a moisture maintenance feature, which maintains the moisture levels at 95% humidity. Apart from the carbon dioxide incubators, ATC facilities should also contain the regular incubators. These are needed for short incubations of cultures like trypsinized cells and other such treatments, for which using the CO2 incubators may be uneconomical, as every time we open these incubators there can be loss of carbon dioxide gas. The next requirement in an ATC facility is the air conditioner. The entire ATC facility needs to be maintained in an air-conditioned environment only. This not only ensures a dust-free environment but also avoids wide fluctuations in temperatures which can be harmful to the cultured cells. An optional but useful equipment in ATC is the membrane filtration unit fitted with a vacuum pump. The membrane filtration unit is used to filter sterilize the medium and other temperature sensitive solutions that are used in ATC. This unit has an upper chamber and a lower chamber. Between these two reservoirs is placed a sterile membrane filter with 0.22 micrometer pore size. This unit is used to filter sterilize the medium that is prepared and used in the animal tissue culture. A vacuum pump is connected to the lower reservoir and the filtration is carried out under suction inside the laminar flow under sterile conditions. The sterile medium that is collected in the lower reservoir is distributed into sterile bottles and frozen at -20 degrees Celsius till use. The membrane filtration unit can also be used to filter sterilize fairly large volumes of other solutions that are used in ATC. Nowadays, however, liquid medium that is reconstituted and filter sterilized is available commercially, eliminating the need for a membrane filtration unit. However, it is still used for sterilizing large volumes of solutions like Hank's balanced salt solution. Now, we shall consider the next equipment. Long-term storage of cultures is done by freezing the cells at ultra-low temperatures. This is done in a cryopreservation medium. The cryopreservation medium prevents the formation of sharp ice crystals inside the cell as well as in the medium in the ultra-low temperature conditions. The cells suspended in ice-cold cryopreservation medium are gradually cooled to ultra-low temperatures and then stored under liquid nitrogen in ultra-low temperature cryostorage cylinders. These vials, which contain the cells, are secured into canisters and immersed in the liquid nitrogen for long-term storage. Now, let us take up the disposeware or disposable plastic ware that are used in ATC. In olden days, tissue culture was carried out in glass bottles that could be washed, sterilized and reused. More often, the surface of these glass bottles were also coated with collagen to aid in better anchorage of the cells. However, this cumbersome procedure has now been replaced by the use of sterile disposable plasticware or more commonly disposeware. Several types of disposeware like sterile tissue culture bottles, sterile multi-well plates with lid, sterile pipetting aids which include the micropipettes and tips, cotton, sterile tubes, sterile cell scrapers, etc. are commonly used in animal tissue culture. Having considered the infrastructure and equipment requirements of ATC, we now move on to the steps involved in cell or tissue culture. This starts with the preparation of the medium. The most common medium that is used for ATC is Dulbecco's modified essential medium or DMEM. Other media like RPMI, F10, F12, etc. are also used for specific purposes. The major components of the medium include glucose, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, water and a strong buffering agent. Serum, which contains several growth promoting substances, and antibiotics to curtail microbial contamination are added fresh to the required volume of medium just before use freshly. DMEM is available in two forms: a ready to use liquid form and powdered medium. The powdered medium is dissolved in a specified amount of water. Necessary additions like sodium bicarbonate are made as per the manufacturer's instructions and the pH is adjusted. The volume is made up accurately to the required level and this is filter sterilized and stored in sterile bottles. Just before use, the necessary amount of sterile medium is pipetted out into a sterile container and serum, which is usually fetal bovine serum or FBS in short, at 10% level, and antibiotics, usually penicillin streptomycin or Penstrep in short, at the level of 1% is added to this and gently mixed well. This mixture is called complete medium. We shall now see how to initiate primary tissue culture. Let us first take up the anchorage dependent tissues. The tissue to be cultured is dissected out under sterile conditions and then minced into smaller bits. These bits are washed with sterile isotonic solution like saline or phosphate buffered saline to remove the debris. The washed tissue bits are suspended in a proteolytic enzyme solution like trypsin or collagenase or pronase and incubated to disrupt the extracellular matrix and release the cells which are to be cultured. The bits of undisrupted tissue are removed by gravity and the released cells are collected using a sterile pasture pipette. These cells are suspended in the medium containing serum and antibiotics and then transferred to the tissue culture bottles or well plates as the case may be. These are then incubated at 37 degrees centigrade, 5% carbon dioxide and 95% humidity. The medium is changed periodically every 2 to 3 days till the culture is well established. These photographs show the primary cultures of anchorage dependent cells. On the left panel are freshly seeded cells and on the right panel are the cells that have attained full growth in culture. Culturing of anchorage independent cells or suspension culture is only slightly different from the anchorage dependent cells. Lymphocytes or ascitic cells, which are used for certain applications of ATC, are maintained in suspension as they do not need to attach to a support for growth. To establish these cultures, the cells are first collected by aspiration into a sterile syringe. A density gradient centrifugation of the collected blood is done to isolate the lymphocytes or the ascitic cells which are collected by aspiration into sterile syringe or pasture pipette. After centrifugation, the collected cells are then suspended into a medium containing serum and antibiotics. If necessary, mitogenic agents may be added to trigger cell division. The cell preparations are then incubated at the same conditions to multiply the cells. An important procedure in ATC is determining the cell number and the viability of the cells. Before culturing or during subculturing, it is often required to determine the cell number and the viability of the cultured cells. The cells are collected as a single cell suspension and an aliquot is diluted and added to a solution of trypan blue in saline. This suspension is immediately loaded onto a Neubauer ruling, which is also called a hemocytometer, and the cells are counted in the 4 bigger quadrants. Since trypan blue stains only the dead cells, the transparent bright cells, which are the live cells, are counted for determining the viability. The cell number in 1 milliliter of the original suspension is calculated as average cell number in the 4 quadrants into 10 power 4 into the dilution factor. The cell cultures are maintained by subculturing. If the culture is a suspension culture, the cells are collected by centrifugation under sterile conditions and an aliquot is subcultured in fresh, complete medium for further growth. For anchorage dependent cells, subculturing is done by a process called trypsinization. Trypsin is an enzyme that can act on the proteins that are involved in the anchorage and detach the cells from the substrate or the mechanical support. The detached cells are appropriately diluted and seeded into fresh medium for further growth. This process of subculturing is also called passaging, and the passage number is a very vital parameter that determines the performance of the cells in culture and should be noted down very carefully. In some cases, a sterile cell scraper can also be used to mechanically remove the cells from the substrate instead of using trypsin. When the cultures need not be maintained continuously in culture, they are usually frozen and reused at a later date by thawing. As mentioned earlier, this is done at ultra low temperatures and the process is called cryostorage. For this, The cells are collected either by trypsinization or by scrapping and suspended in pre-cooled cryopreservation medium. The commonly used cryopreservation media include complete medium containing 10% DMSO or dimethyl sulfoxide, or 50% glycerol, or glycerol mixed to equal volume of fetal bovine serum. The suspension of cells in the cryopreservation medium is then subjected to gradual cooling to ultra low temperature to avoid the formation of sharp ice crystals within the cells, which can cause damage to the cells during thawing. The cells are then stashed into liquid nitrogen for long-term storage. As and when necessary, these cells can be removed from liquid nitrogen and subjected to rapid thawing by immersing in a 37° centigrade water bath. Thus, we have now learned about the requirements as well as the various basic procedures of working with animal tissue culture. The established continuous cell lines can be purchased commercially for working and experimentation from government supported agencies. In the United States, there is an agency called ATCC, which stands for American Type Cell Culture, from where cultures or cell lines can be obtained for all over the world. In our country, the cell lines can be purchased from National Center for Cell Sciences or NCCS, which is located in Pune, Maharashtra. To conclude, the culturing of animal cells or tissues or organs has innumerable applications and has become an important technique. The results that are obtained with animal tissue cultures usually give a good idea about the events that are happening in vivo. Very often, this reduces the number of experiments that are necessary with whole animals to investigate a given problem. Cell cultures also provide a multitude of options with varied applications. The major applications of animal tissue culture procedures in the various fields will be considered in the next module. Thank you.